So most people think when they go to MEPS, the only test they got to take is the ASVAB. I used to think that too. As a matter of fact, when I was a recruiter, the first person I sent up to MEPS, I told him that all you got to do is take the ASVAB. When he came back from MEPS, he said, "Oh, Sergeant Reed, there was 2 other tests I had to take." And I was like, what? So if you were like him and you don't want to be blindsided by what those 2 extra tests are, then stick around because I'm gonna break it all the way down. So first up, when you're done taking the ASVAB, you're gonna have to take a tailored adaptive personality assessment system test, otherwise known as the TAPAS. It's been mandatory for Air Force members and Army members since 2009, and it's based on the Big 5 personality theory. This test is a scientifically validated tool that's used across all branches, but like I say, the Air Force and Army, you have to take it. What it does is predicts performance, discipline, attrition risk, and job success. Think of it kind of like the military's version of a dating app algorithm. You're either gonna swipe left or you're gonna swipe right. You don't literally swipe, but you gotta choose. And you gotta choose 120 different times out of 2 questions of which one fits you most. And you can't fake it. Each question gives you 2 equally positive traits like, I enjoy leading a team versus I follow instructions well. Even if they both sound like they fit you, you gotta choose the one that fits you most. So why does it matter? This isn't just a personality test to have fun with and see what type of person you are. They actually use this in combination with your ASVAB to determine which jobs will fit best for you. They break it down into 2 different composite scores. You have the can do, and this predicts your learning potential and your technical training performance. And then you have the will do score, and this measures your grit, your motivation, your discipline, and your resilience. Together, those scores combined with the ASVAB will be used to determine if you have the personality for certain jobs. Jobs like air traffic control, all the special warfare jobs, fusion analysts, and security forces. There might be more, I'm just not aware of them. Those are the ones that I do know. Now, how do you prepare for the TAPAS? I'm gonna tell you right now, you really can't prepare for the TAPAS, but you can be honest. It's basically built to detect if you're faking or not. So the consistency of your answers throughout the 120 questions is crucial. Stay true to yourself as well. Like, you don't want to try to answer this as what do they want you to say. You want to answer this as what you actually believe. And then don't overthink it. I don't think I ever had anybody actually fail this test. I have heard of people failing this test, but I don't think as a recruiter I ever had anybody fail this test. So don't overthink it. Next, there's a cyber test. This is another one that people didn't know was mandatory when you go to MEPS for Air Force. Now, this test isn't about coding, although they call it a cyber test. It's more about pattern recognition, abstract reasoning, logic, and how your mind works under pressure in the digital domain. So why does this test matter? Because the Air Force isn't just about jets. They actually have computers as well. And these computers are America's first line in defense against cyber warfare. So they need people who can process information at high speeds, be able to think through complex systems, and outsmart adversaries in like a tech-driven battlefield. And although you probably will never see these scores, they are used in combination with the ASVAB, sometimes your TAPAS, all 3 of them to determine if you're qualified for certain jobs. Certain jobs like cyber warfare, cyber defense, and cyber systems operations. There may be more, I'm just not familiar with them, but those 3 are the ones that I'm aware of. So how can you prepare? Kind of like the TAPAS, this isn't something you really want to prepare for, but if you're stressed out about it and you need to prepare, there may be something that can help you. There's this thing called Raven's progression matrices, and from what I hear is it has a lot of the same type of arithmetic reasoning and logic type of questions that are kind of similar to the cyber test. So if you must have to prepare for it, maybe you could take that test, but I haven't been able to find that test for free anywhere online. So like the TAPAS, I wouldn't overthink it. And if y'all know a way to prepare for it that I don't, leave it in the comments. Beyond those 2 tests, there's also one more test that you have to take if you're interested in certain career fields, like cyber warfare, cyber defense, or scientific application specialist. And this test is called the electronic data processing test. From what I hear, this is one of the hardest tests that you will ever take in your life. I've never taken it, but everyone that I sent up to take this test, they always come back like, what was that? This test has been around for decades, and it's mandatory for those 3 careers, and it also has 120 questions, and you have to complete them within 90 minutes. It's a wild ride, y'all. Y'all gonna go through things like algebra, word analogies, number sequences, and different logic puzzles. It's kind of like the SAT met Sudoku and had a baby. It's a tough test, y'all. And this test is the most studyable of the three, but it's still not easily found information to study, or at least free information. But if I wanted to give some tips, I would say master algebra. That would be like the first thing you need to do. Just know how to solve for X and simplify equations. Also, word analogies, just practice daily. You might be able to Google EDPT style analogies, and maybe you can find some practice test questions, and then try to find like a free logic puzzle app online or something. There's some good ones out there. These will help you be able to prepare for this test. But like the TAPAS, the cyber test, the EDPT is also, they just want to test where you're at currently. They don't really want you to prepare for them because they need to see your raw talent for these tests. So here's some common misconceptions about these tests. You can fail them, but it doesn't mean that you can't join. Like if you fail the TAPAS, all that does is disqualify you from the jobs that you need a TAPAS score for. Or if you fail the cyber test, you're not gonna be able to do some of those computer jobs. Or the EDPT, you're not gonna be able to do those jobs. Also, you can't cheat or fake the system on these tests. You either have it or you don't. That's it. And are these tests more important than the ASVAB? No, they're not, but for certain jobs, they're just as important as the ASVAB. So it's not something you want to take lightly. So hopefully I showed you how to maximize your test scores while at MEPS. If you want to learn how to maximize your aura while serving, then I got a video on the screen right now that'll break down some simple things that you can do to maximize that aura. But like I always say, I hope this video brought value to you. Stay beautiful, stay classy, and until next time, check me out.